loving students, this is Ezra, your accountancy teacher. May God bless us all with all His blessings. Now, let us go to the next chapter, accounting equation. I have already told you that all transactions should be recorded, and transactions cannot be recorded as we like. There is a way, there is a procedure which should be followed. In that way, in that procedure, we have to enter those transactions, and those transactions should be recorded in two approaches. One is accounting equation approach and another one is traditional approach, and we follow this traditional approach. Now you may raise a question, if we follow this traditional approach, why should we know this accounting equation approach? There is nothing wrong in knowing one thing, learning one thing. This is also called the American approach. And before going to see the accounting equation, let us see the meaning of equation. Unless you know the meaning of equation, it is difficult. It would be very, very difficult to know the meaning of accounting equation. Let us take. Here is one thing. You might have studied in a 9th standard, 10th standard in mathematics, the accounting equation, binomial equation like that. You need not worry about that. See, 10 students are equal to one teacher. One is equal to another. That is equation. Now, let me tell you the meaning of equation. Equation means mathematical expression of the relationship between two or more items. Here we have taken two items, one is students and another one is teacher, and we have made a comparison. 10 students are equal to one teacher, and this is equation. This can be understood in the next example. 15 horses are equal to one elephant. It means this is also an equation. You must have studied in 10th standard. And what do you mean by accounting equation? Equation, you know the meaning of equation. Accounting equation, it means the mathematical expression of the relationship between assets and liabilities is called accounting equation. I told you that two items will be normally taken. Minimum two items will be taken, and we try to make a link between those items. Here we take, in accountancy, here we take assets and liabilities. You know the meaning of assets and the meaning of liabilities, and assets are equal to liabilities, and this is an equation, and only on this equation the whole accountancy is framed, whole accountancy is built on. These liabilities can be divided into two, that is owner's liability and other liabilities. What do you mean by owner's liability? At the beginning, you might have studied in the business entity concept. What does that concept say? According to that concept, the owner should be separated from the business. Though he is the owner, though he employs capital, though he invests money, he should be separated. He must be kept away from the business. Otherwise, we cannot make the business. And accounts should be prepared not on the basis of the view of the owner, but from the point of view of the business. From the side of business, we have to stand and prepare the accounts. And the money given by him should be treated as a liability to the owner. It means the business has to give back the money invested by the owner. That is owner's liability. And other liabilities, you know. These liabilities should be borne by the business, and business must pay back these liabilities. That is called other liabilities. Now, liabilities can be divided into two, owner's liability and other's liability. Owner's liability is also called capital, and capital is also called owner's liability. So, assets will be equal to capital plus liabilities. Assets is equal to capital plus liabilities, and it is the main equation from which we are going to do problems. See, in your book they have asked capital, sometimes they have asked liabilities. How to find out those capital, liabilities, etc. Let us see a little later. Now, Let us go to the next stage. Assets is equal to capital plus liabilities. I told you sometimes they may ask you capital. Remember, again let us go back to the 9th standard. You might have studied. This side is called the left hand side and this side is called the right hand side. When you change the sides, the value will not change. It means we bring this capital plus liabilities to the right hand side and this assets is taken to the this is taken to the left hand side and assets is taken to the right hand side. The value remains constant. Constant means fixed. Value will not change. I have brought this and I have written capital plus liabilities is equal to assets. Now, if you are asked to find out capital, take that capital out. When this is taken to the next side, opposite side, the sign will change. If there is plus sign means when this is taken to the next side, it will become minus sign. When there is minus sign in this side, when it is taken to the next side, it becomes plus. When there is division in this side, when it is taken to the other side, it becomes multiplication. Like that, remember that. Now we want capital. So this liability should be taken to that side. And here is plus mark. So we change the sign into minus mark. Now capital is equal to assets minus liabilities. And this becomes an equation. And let us take this equation as a second equation. Now let us go. Capital plus liabilities is equal to assets. Suppose if they ask you to find out liabilities, what to do? The same procedure should be followed. Do not think as a complicated one, easy one. We want liabilities. Take these liabilities to this side and take the capital to the next side, opposite side. So liabilities is equal to assets. Take this. Here there is no sign. It means there is plus sign before that. When there is plus capital, when it is taken to the opposite side, it becomes minus capital. So liabilities is equal to assets minus capital and it becomes an equation and that equation can be taken as the third one. So these are the three equations used in accountancy and you will be asked to prepare accounting equations with the given transactions. How to prepare? Let us go see it. Now let us go to the next stage. And assets is equal to capital plus liabilities. Then how to form that accounting equations with the given transactions. For that you have to keep it in mind two things. That is, tell with me. Incomes and profits should be added to capital. Expenses and losses should be subtracted from capital. These things are known to you. These things must be known to you when we go for preparing accounting equation. Before that, let me tell you the meaning of incomes, profits, etc. What comes into the business is called the income. For example, we have deposited money in a bank. The bank will give us interest. That interest is an income for the business. See, we have some space and we have lent that space for some rent. We get rent that comes into the business. That is an income. We have done a thing to somebody else and they give us commission. That commission is an income. We have invested our money in the shares of a company. The company makes profit and gives dividend. We get dividend. That dividend is an income for the business. So all these are incomes. Remember, sales should not be treated as income because that thing I will tell you. Sales, when they are beyond their cost price, that excess amount should be taken. Otherwise, sales should not be taken as income. What do you mean by profit? Let us take the sales. If goods worth 10,000 is sold for 15,000, that 5,000 is the profit and that profit should be added to the capital. And another example, let us take a machinery. When that machinery is sold for profit, extra amount, for example, if the cost of the machinery is 30,000, when it is sold for 35,000, there is a profit of 5,000, and that 5,000 should be added to capital. When we go for doing the sum, you can easily understand. And expenses and losses. What do you mean by expense? We buy a building. Remember, that should not be taken as an expense. Remember that. But when we go for whitewashing the building, that becomes the expense. Amount spent to maintain business are called expenses. We buy a building, that cannot be taken as an expense, whereas amount spent to maintain that building will be termed as expenses. Other things are sales expenses, promotional expenses, and office expenses. These are expenses. Losses. Let us take goods worth 10,000 is sold for 8,000. The value is more, and the selling price is less than the cost. So there is a loss. These expenses and losses should be subtracted from capital. These two things should be known to you. You must remember and keep these things in your mind so that we can do the problems. See, some transactions affect left hand side. This is left hand side assets. Alone, for example, there is cash of 1 lakh rupees. From that cash, I buy furniture for rupees 20,000. This transaction, assume there is cash of 1 lakh rupees and we have borrowed a furniture of 20,000. Furniture 20,000. Remember, purchase of furniture should not be taken as an expense. Here we take 20,000 from cash, and that 20,000 is converted into another asset called furniture. So this cash, we have to subtract that 20,000, and we have now got one asset that is called furniture, and there will not be any change in the capital. So this transaction, that is purchase of furniture 20,000, that has made a change in left hand side alone. Because how does that change come? From the cash, we have taken 20,000 rupees there, so the cash value comes to 80,000, and new asset has come inside, that is furniture 20,000, and there will not be any change in the capital. That remains constant, that is 1 lakh rupees. This is the transaction that affect left hand side alone. There will be affect means there will be changes in the left hand side alone, and there are some transactions that make changes in the right hand side. There are some transactions that will make changes in both left hand side and the right hand side. Let us do the sum. When we go for doing the sum, when we do the sum, it will be known to you. You can easily understand that. Hope you have understood the concept of accounting equation. In the next class, let us do problems. By the grace of God, let us meet in the next class. Thank you.